friends, welcome to Bookish Bliss, our virtual book club. Every week we will dig into a section of chapters in our favorite books. Let's get started.
Hey book besties, and welcome back to Bookish Bliss for episode 98. We have a lot to discuss today.
Yes, we are continuing our journey through Sarah J. Maas's tandem read of Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, and this week it's all about chapters 62 to 65 in Empire of Storms and 52 to 57 in Tower of Dawn. So you don't have to read the entire book. Well, for one of them you do, Empire of Storms, but you do need to be caught up on the chapters we're covering because we are going full spoiler mode. Amanda, darling, what are you drinking tonight?
I got the best drink for the best ending to the best book
Whoa.
of the year so far, for sure. My ginger lime mule.
I love
How about
that.
you, darling?
Darling, I am tried and true bubbly, though this is my last one, and I'm out of all sparkling water, so I'm going to have to go get some tomorrow.
Indeed, darling, you must.
Because I'm going to need that. But cheers to episode 98. 98 of Bookish Bliss and part 11 of our tandem read. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh,
the ending is near.
Like, I'm so thirsty just even thinking about.
I'm so thirsty. I'm probably going to have to get up and get another one at some point.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pour just a regular glass of water at some point. So I'm going to be like, glug, glug, glug.
Indeed, darling.
What is your bookish news for me this week, darling?
Bookish news is I've had 3 books finished, one being Empire of Storms today.
Yes.
Which was amazing.
Yes.
I'm so excited to talk about it. And then my other 2 were The Rivaled Crown, which is book 3 of The Veiled Kingdom, and The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark, which was our book club book. All great books.
Yes.
How about you, darling?
I finished Empire of Storms today as well. I also finished Deep End by Allie Hazelwood. And I finished The Hunted Heir by Holly Renee. And I DNF'd The Rivaled Crown.
Indeed.
Yeah. So if you wanted my real thoughts on those 2 books, you should have come to our Discord book club. So
it was a great night. It was so fun.
You should come next month.
Yes.
Amanda will tell you what we're reading at the end of this episode.
Yes, I will.
Dun,
I forgot to change the script, so let's see if I remember. Gotta stick around for the rest of the episode to find out.
Yes, but I wasn't the biggest fan of Deep End either at the beginning of the book, but I ended up really enjoying it at the end. I still would say I'm still slightly in a reading slump. I have not read or listened to a 5-star read in quite some time, besides Empire of Storms.
Yeah.
But I've already read this book, so
right. Yeah.
I can't really fully count it.
It hit me today. I can't wait to talk about it.
Yes. So I'm ready for a new 5-star read.
Yeah.
I am counting, obviously, Empire of Storms as something that I've read this year because I did read it and I'm giving myself credit for it.
Yeah.
But
same.
Yeah, no new 5-star reads for me. So obviously I love the ending of this. I cried 3 times.
It's crazy.
But yeah, I guess we should just jump right in because we got a lot to talk about.
Indeed, darling, we do. Let's get started with the good stuff and break down the tandem read part 11, the end of Empire of Storms, with a little dash of Tower of Dawn.
Yes. Yeah, so it would be too awkward to split up, I think, these chapters and do another part. It just kind of made sense to do it this way.
So a little bit more pages and chapters this week, but it was worth it.
Yeah, no, it definitely flowed nicely.
Yeah.
But we're going to start with me. We're going to end with Amanda. That's so great. You get the end of the book. So exciting. Here we go.
So exciting.
Empire Storms, chapter 62. Dorian goes to Manon first, asking her to come with him, and she follows without argument. He then collects Aelin, who is already dressed and prepared, though Rowan is noticeably absent. Dorian leads them into the ship's hold, revealing that he has been unable to sleep, daydreaming about his sexy time with Manon and her words about iron. He shares his growing conviction that the witch's mirror is more than it appears, and it holds ancient knowledge. Dorian believes the mirror can reveal how to forge the three keys into the lock and, more importantly, how to wield them safely. Reflecting on Deanna's cryptic warning, flame and iron, together bound, merge into silver to learn what must be found. A mere step is all it shall take. He theorizes that the mirror is not just about sealing the gate, but about using keys without destroying the wielder. He hopes it will show Aelin how to survive using the keys and return to face the Armada threatening them. Aelin and Manon are the flame and the iron. Aelin is uneasy with the plan, partly because it wasn't her idea, and partly because the mirror could take them somewhere dangerous, possibly Marath. Still, with time running out and losses mounting, she agrees, knowing Manon's knowledge of Marath could be their only way out if it comes to that. As Aelin and Manon prepare to step into the mirror, Adian rushes down the stairs to warn them, but they step through before he can stop them.
Wild.
It's so crazy to read this chapter after I just finished the last chapter.
I know.
In Empire of Storms, and how Dorian was right but wrong.
Yeah.
But also, is that foreshadowing for the doom and gloom we feel after learning what the mirror does tell us?
True.
Because Dorian seems adamant that it's not only going to tell us how to forge a new lock, but how to safely wield the keys without destroying the wielder. But, I mean, that's kind of put to kaput once we get into the mirror and learn what actually happened and what needs to be done.
Aelin has to die to forge the lock.
But is that some foreshadowing? I don't know.
Oh, that she figures out another way because she has to survive this series.
Amanda's distraught.
She has to. I will not accept anything less.
But yeah, so it's interesting though that Manon is involved in all of this, but really, I thought she was going to play a bigger part. She does obviously step up and, help.
Well, I think she's there because she's the Kraken witch.
Yeah, because they helped create the mirror Rihanna
exactly.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought there was going to be something more to it that she was also going to have to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess this is just showing her she needs to work with Aelin to be better than her four mothers before her, as she says at the end of the book, and lead or get an army to help Aelin after everything she sacrifices. So
yeah, I see her having a bigger role now that she has the keys, which we'll talk about when we get to that part. But
I guess Dorian has the keys, but
yeah,
but
that's true. Yeah, that's true. She gives them to Dorian.
But Dorian and Manon are together.
Yeah.
Crazy. On to the next chapter.
On to the next one. Empire of Storms, chapter 63. Chaos overtook the ship as Adian's roar echoed from below. Rowan landed on deck with terror in his eyes just as Adian and a black-eyed Dorian delivered the devastating news. Aelin and Manon had stepped into the mirror and vanished. Adian's attempt to reopen it failed, and Rowan's magic could not trace them. Dorian insisted there had been no other choice, though Rowan's refusal to meet his gaze unsettled him. As sunrise neared, Alide reminded the others that they could not wait for Aelin and Manon to return, even as she and Adian bickered through their shared worry. Rowan ordered everyone to prepare for battle, convinced Maeve knew Gabriel and Fenris were present and would use the blood oath at the moment of greatest harm. Lorcan grimly agreed, the cadre revealing Maeve's history of torture and the brutal punishments she had inflicted on them for aiding Rowan in Mistward in the past. Truths Rowan had never been told. Despite believing themselves already damned, the cadre vowed to stay unless commanded otherwise, though Lorcan demanded Alide be sent safely to shore before he fought, a condition Rowan accepted. Rowan then dispersed them across the fleet to command smaller groups of ships, keeping the cadre furthest from Maeve, while Lysandra, in sea dragon form, prepared to strike from beneath the waves. At dawn, Maeve sent a rowboat demanding Aelin's reply, but Rowan informed her Aelin was not aboard any ship and declared her arrival a waste of time. When he offered peace if her armada withdrew, Maeve answered instead with a barrage of magic-tipped arrows. So we begin our battle with Maeve.
It has begun.
It has begun. Dorian has a fucking black eye because Adian's pissed that he let them go through this mirror, but like he's really not feeling anything about this decision until Rowan can't even look him in the eyes. He's like, oh fuck.
But
Fucked up.
it needed to be done. And
Yeah.
fuck Adian. We know how I
Yeah.
feel about him. And
I know. He's just gonna be a brute no matter what.
yeah.
A lied someone that tells them, like, you know what? It doesn't matter if they're here or not. We can't wait for them now. They can't save us. So Maeve is like, okay, it's about time. She sends a rowboat over right at sunrise for the answer. And obviously, Aylin's not there. Rowan answers for her. And instead of leaving peacefully, they send magic tipped arrows towards their boats.
Mm-hmm.
And on to the next one.
Here we go. But we're
Here we
bouncing
go.
over to Tower of Dawn before we go back
Mhm.
to Empire of Storms. Tower of Dawn, chapter 52. Kale and Irene gallop back to Antica at dawn, leaving a note for Hazar claiming Irene has a gravely ill patient who requires her attention. The hard ride leaves Kale in significant pain, his back screaming by the time they arrive. Irene scolds him for pushing himself and teasingly reminds her that she had better heal him since they had a plan to be very busy again that night once they secure the scrolls.
Mhm.
Their brief moment of lightness vanishes when they reach Kale's rooms and find them completely trashed. Kaja explains that she discovered the damage that morning and heard nothing during the night, having gone to visit her parents while Kale was away. Irene is skeptical, suspecting either negligence or deceit, and wonders whether the door had been left unlocked for someone searching for something specific. Kale immediately orders Kaja to stop cleaning, hoping the remaining evidence might reveal who is responsible. It soon becomes clear that the intruder took every book and scroll, except the single scroll Irene had hidden in Kale's boot in the bedroom. With danger clearly closing in, Kale suggests that Irene stay at the tour that night while he remains in his room so it won't appear as though he's fleeing. Privately, however, Kale is weighed down by guilt. He realizes he never truly ended things with Nezrin and now feels like a fool, hurting both her and Irene, especially with Nezrin's return looming. Okay.
Kale.
The only thing I'm going to say about this chapter is Kale is a pain in my ass. We literally think that here we are. Here is so much growth with Kale. We have this wonderful night spent with Irene on her birthday. We have them opening up to each other
Mhm.
and seeing the light at the end of this tunnel. And now we come back to a trashed room. And then all of a sudden he's like, I don't think I ended things properly with Nezrin. Yes,
Yeah, it
you
seems kinda
did.
random.
It's
Yeah.
so random. And
Well, she's the one I feel like that ended things with him. She was like, "I don't hold you to shit, and I'm leaving and not going to do anything loyalty-wise to you."
Right, so I'm not sure
Like
how that's not properly severed,
yeah.
and it just, like, annoyed me to see him push her away again, just for it to,
Yeah.
like there really to be no conflict when she comes back in, like, it
Yeah,
just
obviously, I feel like he's, like, having anxiety or something and taking it out on her again.
which is annoying, and that's,
Yeah,
like, my biggest problems with the men in these
the men.
books.
The men in general.
Yes, and in real life. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, literally.
But, yeah, so, obviously, we don't know who broke into the
Trash their
rooms,
room.
trashed the
Yeah.
rooms, but they did take every single book and scroll that Irene had taken in there from the library, except this one
Mhm.
scroll that now Irene will take to the tour.
Mhm. Indeed,
Here we
darling.
go.
Moving right along tonight. These are very short chapters, these beginning ones.
Yes.
Tower of Dawn, chapter 53. Irene rushed into the tour and straight to Haviza, convinced that someone had realized how close they were to uncovering a long buried secret. Haviza, sensing the urgency beneath Irene's visit, set aside her teasing questions about Kale and the locket she had noticed, and instead listened as Irene explained everything: the ransacked rooms, the ancient books and scrolls, the ruins in the oasis, and their growing belief that the healers had once been placed in Antica as a hidden line of defense against the Valg. Haviza turned pale when Irene admitted that even Aelin and Dorian might not be enough, and their theory that healers could hold a crucial role in the coming war. Though Haviza could not read the word marks on the scroll, she revealed forbidden books locked away in the Tor. She remembers some history from her drunk predecessor when Antica had been the capital of a Fae kingdom that entombed its dead in magically sealed sarcophagi to prevent Valg possession. That ancient kingdom had left behind power and knowledge someone was now trying to erase.
Mm.
After securing the scroll in the locked bookcase, Irene sought clarity in the quiet of the womb, not being able to concentrate when she got back to her room. There, guided by the soft ringing of her bell, she followed a wave of sound urging her to enter where you fear to tread. Her bell led her to the Jaffa Tower's bell, her ancestor, and Irene realized the darkness and void was not within Kale but within herself. Reflecting on her past and the truth of Adarlan's people, she acknowledged that not all had been monsters. Whispering her understanding to the darkness above, she felt a drop of water touch her face and rang Jaffa's bell, embracing the strength and legacy that had always been with her.
Yes, girl power.
Yes. So obviously, I wouldn't be able to sit still either. So Irene tells Hafiza everything. She finds out that there's even more of these books locked away, but there's word keys that nobody can read except for fucking Aelin, of course.
Of course.
So they're a little bit weary about taking them out of the tour. So Hafiza's gonna think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get her to get them for us
Yeah.
out of the tour. But we hear that there's this ancient kingdom, this Fae kingdom, that basically entombs its dead in these sarcophagi that are magically sealed so that Valgs can't possess them when they're dead.
Mm.
So obviously we think that healers were involved in this ancient battle. We need to see what kind of power they have.
Right.
Irene realizes after she finds an ancestor's bell that this void that she needs to attack is within her. Also, she's like, let's get this motherfucker.
Well, I think they both have darkness. I think to say that the
Yeah.
darkness is not in Kale, it's within her, I think is not the whole truth. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of darkness in Kale.
I think so too. But I feel like she has to break through it for him to see that it's possible because he will be the one that lets it destroy him.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Going back to Empire of Storms for a hot tick. Empire of Storms, chapter 64. Aelin becomes aware that she no longer has a true physical body, realizing this when she notices that Manon appears transparent and wraith-like in the twilight fog-filled realm the mirror has brought them to. They have no idea where they are or what place they've stepped into. Aelin briefly wonders if Maeve has delayed her attack in Aelin's absence, though she trusts that Rowan and Adian will hold the line without her. Expecting some immediate reaction from the mirror because of the 2 word keys she secretly carried with her, Aelin is unsettled when nothing happens. Manon urges silence unless speech is absolutely necessary, and Aelin agrees, drawing Goldarin as a precaution. The world around them darkens and a distant light appears, resolving into 3 approaching figures. Aelin realizes that they are not witnessing the present, but a memory from 1,000 years ago. They watch Elena kneeling before an obsidian sarcophagus carved with word marks, glowing with a pale blue fire. At its center rests the eye of Elena. As the light fades, Elena twists the eye 3 times and it falls into her hands, sealing the sarcophagus. Manon is stunned, remarking that Aelin has possessed the lock all along, but Aelin senses they were deliberately misled, brought here by the mirror to see this moment. In silence, she and Manon watch as the truth finally comes together, the long-hidden pieces of fate weaving into a clear and terrible understanding.
Fucking Elena. That's all I
Fucking
gotta say.
Elena, the true villain of Throne of Glass,
Is
maybe?
Elena.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder. She's like, bitch, fucking tell me something useful since book 1.
Right.
And it's because she's a dumbass.
And she does ask her this, like in my chapter, in a couple of chapters, like, why couldn't you have just told me this from the beginning? And her like excuse is just kind of bullshit, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So we're brought into this mirror. We're witnessing the past. We are going to learn how to forge a new lock, but it is not what I think the readers expected or what Manon maybe expected, but I think it's exactly confirming what Aelin has suspected all along, which is just devastating and sad.
Yeah.
But let's get to it.
Yeah. Let's keep going. Empire of Storms, chapter 65. At dawn in the Obsidian Passes, Elena faced the gods and learned the devastating truth about the lock she had stolen from her father. She had never understood its true purpose, the sacrifice behind its forging, her mother's mortal body, that was meant to seal the 3 word keys back into the word gate and send the gods and Valg kings home forever. By using it prematurely to entomb Erewhon, she had wasted the one chance that had been promised. The gods condemned her choice and demanded a new price. Mala's bloodline would have to bleed again to forge another lock, wield the keys, and send them home. Elena herself would be required to lead them to their fate, a lamb to slaughter for her mistake. Tasked with telling Brannon what his descendants would owe, she returned to Gavin, who had overheard only her side of the exchange, and vowed that one day she would help guide those destined to face Erewhon when he rose again. Under the moon at the temple of Sandrian, Nehemia of Eowe arrived after weeks of searching the stone marshes for ancient answers to riddles to save her people. Elena appeared to her at the temple, explaining that Nehemia had misunderstood the signs. The burden of sacrifice belonged not to Eowe, but to Mala's northern bloodlines, the Havilards and Aelin Galathinius, who was not dead as Nehemia believed, but hidden under an alias heading to the Havilard Palace. The mirror Nehemia sought was not that lock, but a vessel of memory meant to guide the future scion, who would make the final choice when the vowed king rises again. Elena instructed Nehemia to secure her path into the enemy's stronghold, where the two bloodlines would soon converge, though the cost would be her own life, never to return to Eowe. Accepting that she might never see her homeland again, Nehemia resolved to aid her people through the rebellion in Rifthold. Elena warned that either Dorian or Aelin must be ready and make the ultimate sacrifice when the time came, and Nehemia pledged herself to help any way that she could for Aurelia and her kingdom. Wild.
That was a hard truth to learn.
Yeah, for sure. This goes back to book fucking 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like crazy.
Everything matters.
Yeah, literally everything matters. So obviously, this chapter is 2 memories that Aelin and Manon are seeing unfold. One being that the gods are fucking pissed at Elena for using their one chance to get all 3 word keys and the Vow Kings and the gods to go back home. So the gods are going too out of this world, I guess. And they're pissed because they wanted to go and now they have to wait.
It's like, what worlds do they belong to?
I know. Crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, and how did they end up here?
So in this memory, Elena learns the truth, obviously, about her mother's mortal body being used as a sacrifice, and that now she's going to have to help when Mala's bloodline later in life is strong enough again to fight the Vow Kings and lock them up, I guess.
Yeah.
Or forge another lock.
Yeah. It all comes down to Aelin and Dorian.
Yeah, because they are the bloodline of Mala Firebringer.
Yes.
Indeed. They all come together in this next memory, which is wild that Nehemia even learns that Aelin is going to be there.
Yeah.
At the same time. And like the gods literally set that up. It is literally fate that they all ended up in this castle at the same time.
Yeah. And
crazy.
That Nehemia knew who
she was the whole time.
What was her name? Liliana / Selena. Yeah. Like Liliana and Selena / Aelin. She's like, I know who this bitch is.
Yeah. She's like, whatever your fucking alias is, I know your real name.
Yeah.
Crazy. It's crazy to think that she thought she was going to be the one to have to forge the lock, and then she learns like she has a whole different role in this whole play-by-play.
I know.
She's just willing to do it to save everybody.
I know. I wonder what sign she was seeing to even lead her to the Stone Marshes, that she got it so completely wrong that she wasn't the one to like make the new lock, but like be almost a guide for Aelin.
Yeah.
With death being her sacrifice for the greater good.
Well, it's crazy that, like, for me to think that they just did this whole walk to the Stone Marshes and Nehemia already did this.
Yes.
And found the mirror, too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well, yeah, Elena's like, this mirror isn't for you. So I don't think she saw what was in the mirror, but she's like, your role will help lead Aelin, or Dorian here to this mirror.
And she was like, do whatever you can to get into that enemy's kingdom to be there at the same time as them. And like, she fucking did. That's so crazy.
I know. For her people.
Everything matters.
For a better world.
For a better world.
Yep.
But we don't know how Aelin reacts to either of these stories because we're jumping right back into TOD for a little.
Yes. Here we go. Tower of Dawn, chapter 54. Kale wakes the next morning, barely able to move, his body stiff and aching, and he realizes he hasn't spoken to Irene for the rest of the previous day. He wonders whether she spoke to the healer on high and if she discovered anything of value in the stolen scroll. The pain tempts him to call Irene back to help him, but Shen confirms that she returned safely to the tour and hasn't left since. Trying to endure it on his own, Kale bathes and goes to bed. When he wakes the following day, the pain is excruciating. Though he can still move his toes, thighs, and knees, the agony is far worse than before, and dread settles in. Irene arrives just in time, and upon examining him, she grimly confirms that the darkness inside him has returned and spread. She tells Kale that she intends to confront it fully and drive it out once and for all, but warns that if he isn't ready to face it, she can't make that choice for him. Irene admits she wants to try something new, something she can only attempt on Kale. Before he can question her, her magic plunges into him. She collides head on with the darkness, screaming as it roars back, and she hears Kale bellow in pain as the battle rages within him. Despite the terror and suffering, Irene knows this confrontation must end today. Steeling herself, she speaks directly to the darkness, declaring that she knows exactly what it is.
Oh, yeah, baby. Irene's on fucking fire.
She's like, "Don't you dare touch my man anymore."
She's like, I am light, and I know what you are, darkness.
And you are done. Done today.
You are done.
But yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say.
Literally. Not much.
Yeah.
Not much more than what you've already said.
Yeah.
Okay. Tower of Dawn, chapter 55. Kale plunged into overwhelming agony, slipping into a void where every failure and regret rose to torment him. He relived the choices that had shattered his sense of honor, selling himself out to protect Aelin, betraying his oaths, sending her to Wenlin and into Rowan's arms, and believing himself useless in the face of her fire. Memories of Archer Finn, Aelin's cold declaration that he would always be her enemy, and the predator's gaze he had seen in her eyes. He saw how he had failed Irene and Nezrin, remembered Aelin's sincere apology upon returning from Wenlin, and felt again the shame of abandoning Dorian to the vowed prince. The deaths of his men, Rest, Brullo, and others pressed heavily on him, along with the moment he had once asked Aelin what they should do if life held only more pain, and her answer, then it is not the end. In the heart of that darkness, Irene appeared, reminding him that the darkness belonged to him alone. He could feed it or strip it of its power. He could choose to fill it with love, kindness, and the memories worth fighting for. With that truth, Kale remembered the life still ahead of him, the duty he owed to his king, his homeland, and himself. Strengthened, he rose from the abyss, smiled at Irene, and reached for her hand.
No.
Aww. Yeah, so I feel like this is just kind of like last straw for the darkness to get to Kale kind of chapter. They go through basically everything that's ever haunted him between his dad, Dorian, Aelin, his soldiers dying, his oaths being broken, everything that has caused him pain in the last fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you see Irene just show up and be like, you know what? You own this motherfucking darkness, and you can either feed it or you can fill it with love and kindness and say, fuck you, and feel better. And he's like, you know what? You're right. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Light over darkness.
Always. All right, Tower of Dawn, chapter 56. When the darkness lunges at them, Kale does not recoil or fight it. Instead, he faces it without fear, meeting it with calm acceptance. He looks at the darkness, smiles, and gently kisses its brow. In response, the darkness retreats, curling in on itself in the pit, watching silently as Irene pulls Kale back into the light. When Kale opens his eyes, the pain, numbness, and exhaustion are gone. He moves freely, without hesitation or agony, and realizes the darkness no longer holds power over him. Irene tells him she will explain her theory later, but for now confirms that while the mark remains, but it has shrunk, it is a reminder left by the gods, a scar meant to ensure he never forgets what he endured. Irene orders Kale to rest, teasing that he now qualifies for the privileges reserved for special patients. After pointing out that he has thoroughly thrown up on himself, she informs him that his treatment includes a bath, one she will be joining.
Ooh.
Later that night, after rounds of heated intimacy, Kale asks Irene if she meant it when she told him she loved him when she was facing the darkness. She assures him she did. Kale confesses that he has loved her since the moment she truly saw him, without
Aw.
pity, only understanding and acceptance. Irene jokes that his muscles made resistance impossible. Kale promises that when Nezrin returns, he will be honest and clear with her, though he believes she already knows. Finally, he adds that Irene would have a place on his ship when he leaves. He teases her about roles like cook or scullery maid, quickly backtracking when she threatens him, laughing as he admits he already knows exactly where she belongs.
In his bed.
Yeah, in his bed.
I love how he's like, oh my God, I fucked up with Nezrin. And then he's banging Irene in this chapter, like 2 chapters later.
Right, that's what I mean. I feel like the whole ending of that, I feel like we just could have stopped it at go back to the tour. You need to get clarification
Yeah.
if Haviza knows the scroll. I'm going to stay here and it's safer. I'm going to stay here because I can't look like I'm fleeing and I'm scared of these people. Like, we didn't need to bring any of the Nezrin bullshit into this
Yeah.
because now that
Yeah.
he's accepted himself, like, now he's like, oh, okay, like, I know I didn't do anything
Yeah.
wrong.
He's like, oh yeah,
and-
Nezrin's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Stupid.
Fucking men.
Literally, though. Why are they so annoying?
So annoying.
But we're sticking with me. We're going back to Empire of Storms for chapter 66.
We are, darling.
And still not with Aelin.
Literally.
Empire of Storms, chapter 66. Aedion, forged into a warrior from childhood by Prince Rogue Galathinius, whom he regarded as his true father, steps into battle knowing he was trained for this very moment. Gag me. He leads the warriors from the waist, ordering them to raise their shields as Maeve's armada prepares to unleash a deadly storm of arrows. Though he wishes he were fighting beside the Bane, Aedion steels himself to command to protect those under his charge, fully aware that this war will demand he face enemies both human and otherwise for Aelin. At Rowan's signal, their forces return fire, arrows raining down upon Maeve's ships. In the waters below, Lysandra shifts into a terrifying sea dragon hybrid, her form altered for maximum effectiveness. With spider silk woven into her scales, she becomes nearly impervious to arrows and spears, tearing through ship after ship with brutal efficiency. Fighting for her court, her queen, and her friends, Lysandra is relentless, eager to confront Maeve herself and make her pay. On land, Dorian stands with shield raised, anxiety gnawing at him as he wonders if sending Aelin and Manon into the mirror was a mistake. Still, he holds his magic in check, waiting for Maeve's flagship to cross the line. Fire and ice churn within his blood, ready to be unleashed at Rowan's command. As the enemy fleet draws closer, an unexpected sight shifts the tide. Ships bearing white banners lower Maeve's insignia and turn their weapons on their own armada. Rowan's gamble succeeds. The White Thorns have defected, and the battle for the seas begins to seem like they could win this battle against Maeve.
Wild.
I text
the cousins.
Yeah, I text Amanda. I'm like, I'm crying. This is like the difference between me and Amanda. I'm crying because I'm like, he did it. Like, his cousins are coming through for him, and I'm like crying, just happiness.
She's
for
like
them.
the silver flag.
And Amanda's like, fuck yeah, fight him, kill him.
I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, woo. And Megan's like,
I'm just like,
so happy.
I'm like, that's just so good that this. I can't. I get so emotional in battle scenes.
I know. It was very emotional though. Because, you know, they really felt doomed, I feel like, especially Rowan, to even have to ask. And then every single one of them came through. He was like, wow.
Wow. It worked.
Hell yeah.
But like literally every battle scene, even like in Iron Flame, like when they're like 15 minutes, I was crying. Because I just knew something bad was going to happen. Like, you just know something crazy is going to happen.
A big battle scene and at the end of a book.
And I just start crying.
How about Lysandra, too? Dude, with her spider silk.
Yes, after studying Abraxos's wings.
Yeah.
She created on her own, without a Stygian spider silk for her sea dragon form.
Crazy.
She's badass. She's so much stronger than her uncle. It's crazy.
So much stronger.
Yeah. I wonder why her magic is, as a shifter, stronger than his. Maybe she's just practiced it longer than him.
Yeah, well, she definitely had Rowan to like show her the ropes, whereas Falcon kind of figured it out on his own. And
Yeah, true.
but
Craziness.
she just probably has a little bit more heart than Falcon too.
Yeah.
Okay. Empire of Storms, chapter 67. Rowan had confessed everything to his cousin, Enda, Aelin, Erwan, the word keys, and Maeve's hunger for them, and begged on his knees for the Whitehorn forces to turn their blades on Maeve instead of Terrasen. Enda promised only to consider it, as did every other cousin Rowan sought out. Yet, when the moment came, every one of them arrived, choosing to betray Maeve despite knowing it meant losing their titles and their homes. Rowan had never been able to give Aelin an army, so he won one for her instead, though she already held his heart and loyalty. As ice and wind shattered across the waves, he wished she were here to see this. Lorcan was stunned as a third of Maeve's fleet waved silver flags and turned against her, realizing Rowan had accomplished the impossible, all for Aelin, and that Maeve would annihilate the Whitehorns for it. Their brief triumph was cut short when Lorcan noticed Gabriel and Fenris slipping away from the battle. In that instant, he understood. Maeve wasn't at sea at all. She was on land, exactly where he'd left Allied hours earlier. The naval assault was only a distraction. Lorcan immediately handed command to another and seized the longboat racing towards shore. Meanwhile, Allied, unable to see the battle but hearing its distant thunder, prayed desperately for her friend's safety. A storm gathered overhead as if the world itself sensed Aelin needed to draw from the sun on Mala's fire. Fear twisted through Allied at the thought of Vernon finding her alone, but the figure who appeared on the beach was not Vernon.
Ah, fuck.
Poor little Allied.
Poor Allied.
I cannot.
She's gonna go through it till the end of this book.
At least we get some happiness in this chapter where Rowan is just feeling like all this appreciations for every single one of his cousins coming through.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's even expressing like he was never able to give Aelin
Yeah.
an army. So he's like, this is my way of giving it to her. And he wishes that she could be here to see it. But
I know. I love
he
that.
knows either way, she's going to appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And Lorcan's like, damn, this motherfucker did it. All for Aelin. He's like, holy shit. But he knows Maeve is going to blacklist all the Whitehorns now. But obviously that doesn't mean anything to him. They all want to be on the right side of history here.
Right. Yeah. They know right from wrong and they're choosing the right side.
But Lorcan notices or realizes in this instant that, you know, Maeve's not even at sea. Mm-hmm. He notices Fenris and Gabriel slipping away, and he's like, oh my God, she's on fucking shore, exactly where Allied is. And he's like, fuck, hold my beer, and gets in a boat and gets to shore as quickly as possible.
Yeah, this is really the start of Lorcan's dilemma. Like, what's stronger, a blood oath or his new love for Allied? But it's so messy. It's so messy because, like,
I hated Lorcan.
I know, but like, it's like
nope.
No, it's a blood oath. Like, even Gavriel and Fenris couldn't do anything. Like, there's nothing you can do.
Rowan would have done it.
But you have to think back to the room where Rowan was with Maeve and Aelin in that throne room at the end of Air Fire, and he didn't do anything. He stood there while Aelin held her ground and made her big speeches while he was being
but he wasn't fucking crawling back to her like a little bitch.
That's because...
And if Aelin was like, Rowan, don't say that, he wouldn't have fucking said that. Allied's like, Lorcan, like, shut up. And Lorcan's like, la 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 la, love you, Maeve.
No. Well, also, Maeve didn't break the oath in dishonor with Rowan. She let him go. Like, she dishonors both Gavriel and Lorcan, which is a soul wound, which he has no, like, Rowan says, like, there's no, like, healing that you can do for that. So it's like, there's a lot of different circumstances going on here.
Fuck Lorcan right now. That's all I can say.
I have just we can wait till the end of this. I think what Adian does is more fucked up than what Lorcan does, because Adian's not under a blood oath, and how he treats Lysandra at the end of this book is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I agree. Adian is an idiot too, but Lorcan, I was pissed at.
Well, you're supposed to be pissed at Lorcan.
Good. Because I am.
But we'll talk about that more later.
Yes, we will. Yes. So before we end this chapter, Alide basically runs into someone. So we're gonna leave you on that cliffhanger for now. It is not Vernon. We all know who it is because we read it, but we'll wait until we finish
I know, I
Tower
love
of
it.
Dawn to get into it.
This is why you have to read the section before we talk, because spoilers all around.
Exactly. All right. The last Tower of Dawn chapter of this episode, chapter 57. The Erden Airy erupted into chaos when Sartok and the others returned, Falcon barely clinging to life. Sartok managed to embrace Bort and shake Uran's hand, and when he asked how they had arrived, Uran explained that Bort had insisted on coming for him. Either he would fight beside her or she would die alone. Because she was now married to Uran, she used his Earth Mother's authority to her advantage and was allowed to join the battle so long as she set a wedding date, but Uran hadn't agreed to it. Hulin promised stern words for Bort later. Sartok's gaze found Nezran, overwhelmed that she had saved him, and she wept with relief until he teased her about the stories of Netharo's crying, making her laugh. They slept side by side through the next day, waking to find the Council of Clans gathered. Hulin opened the meeting, and Sartok warned that the Karankui were stirring again, answering a dark call spreading across the world. Nezran stepped forward to reveal the full truth of the threat in the north, not an army of men, but demons, and told the entire history of Erewhon and Maeve. Sartok left the choice to the riders, join them or remain behind. While he fetched food, Nezran visited Falcon, who was still in pain and swore never to attempt heroics again. She asked him to return north with them, and when he questioned why, she revealed the truth about his long-lost niece. Falcon wept, agreeing to go, every detail aligning with Lysandra's past except her appearance. Sartok returned, and half an hour later, the clans reached their decision. Before Nezran could hear it, a letter arrived from Kale urgently requesting her help in Antika, something he never did. She turned to Sartok and asked how soon they could be airborne.
Dun, dun.
Crazy.
Dun!
Cliffhanger for TOD until next week. I'm like, fuck, we don't even get to see if they're going to join or not, the Eredun.
I know, we'll have to find out.
Although I think they will.
We'll have to find out next week.
We will find out next week for sure. Kale calls and Nezran's like, we gotta go right now.
Yeah, she's like, it must be urgent. He never does this.
Yeah, must be. And she spills the beans to Falcon in this chapter about Lysandra maybe lining up to be his long lost niece. She's like, everything matches except your description, but that just reminds me of Lysandra not even knowing what the fuck she would look like because she got stuck for so long in that other face.
That she doesn't remember.
Yeah, so duh. Could be the same person. Crazy. And Bort, gotta give Bort her flowers. She's like, nobody is fucking sitting at home. I'm gonna go save my brother. And thank God she fucking defied Hulin and did. Because they needed her.
Yeah.
And Uran, her fucking husband, who pulls through. She's like, I'm going alone and we'll die, or you can come with me. And he's like, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And his mom's like, oh, you can go fight with him as long as you set a wedding date. And she's like, sure, whatever you say.
Yeah. And fingers are crossed.
Yeah. So I hope that Aerie does fly with them. But who knows? Where are they even going to go right now? Are they going to go back to the fucking north and everyone's going to go with them? I don't know. I'm assuming so. But we won't know until next week. So
it's crazy.
Let's get to the ending of Empire of Storms.
Oh my goodness. All right. Empire of Storms, chapter 68. Within the mirror, Aelin is forced to relive memories that reopen old wounds, beginning with the agony of seeing Nehemia again. She realizes that Nehemia knowingly walked into Rifthold to die, sacrificing herself to set in motion a plan Elena agreed to with the gods 1,000 years earlier. As the memories unfold, Manon stands beside Aelin in silent solidarity, sensing the growing weight of each truth Aelin is forced to endure, especially the realization of how deeply Elena had sold both Aelin and Dorian to the gods. The truth of the bargain is revealed in full. Nameless is my price. Aelin's power drained to its final drop, and her very life were meant to forge a new lock. She was to wield the power of the word keys only once, banish the gods, and seal the gate forever. Aelin watches Elena argue with Brannon, the eye of Elena hanging around her neck like a symbol of her regret and folly. She sees Elena and Gavin meet with Rhiannon Crocken, the last Crocken queen of that era, bearing the same face as Manon, linking two queens across centuries. Aelin witnesses Brandon's grief as Elena gives up her mortal life to live with Gavin, and later his devastation as he weeps over her body, knowing the terrible promise his daughter made. Brandon prepares for the day its consequences will come due. He forges the amulet of Orinth, inscribing a hidden message meant only for his true heir, an apology, a warning, and the only mercy he can offer. He leaves behind riddles and clues, hoping the power will never fall into the wrong hands. With Rhiannon's help, Brandon creates more and hides the second word key. The final key is placed in Mala's temple, where Brandon intends the story to end. Only one with his power, Aelin's power, or someone already holding a key could ever reach it. After hiding the last key beneath the flagstone, Brandon walks into the molten river at the heart of Mala's temple and is never seen again. Aelin weeps for Brandon, understanding now that he knew what Elena had done and raged against the cruelty of passing such a burden onto his descendants. In what ways he could, he tried to soften Elena's promise and give Aelin a fighting chance. Aelin then Elena then appears, apologizing at last and explaining that she has suffered for her choice. It had been easy to agree to the bargain when she did not know who would pay the price. Aelin was the queen who had been promised, not to save the world, but to belong to the gods long enough to send them back. Aelin demands to see the memory of the night she was cast into the Florine River. The gods had granted Elena a brief time and a solid body to save Aelin and to take her with her, forcing her to seek the keys and forge the lock as a child. But Elena hesitated as Aelin fought to survive, and the cold claimed her life. Unable to accept that outcome, Elena defied the gods once more and brought Aelin back. She summoned Arabin to the riverbank, knowing the cruelty of the life he would give Aelin, but hoping it would buy her time for Aelin to grow, to fight, and to give the world a chance at something better before the debt was demanded again. For this final act of defiance, Elena is condemned. When the game ends, she will fade into nothing, never reunited with Gavin or her children. The mirror itself was a ploy to ensure Aelin learned the full truth, which is why Elena had dismissed it as worthless when Aelin summoned her in Skull's Bay. Elena promises that when the time comes to forge the lock, Aelin will not be alone. She explained she could not reveal everything sooner. Aelin had only just escaped slavery, and Elena could only manage fleeting moments of contact. She also sent Aelin to Wendlin so she might find Rowan and experience happiness, however brief. After showing Aelin what must be done, Elena kisses her brow and vows to remain with her through every step of what lies ahead. When the mirror finally releases Aelin and Manon, they find themselves standing in the marshes, face to face with Queen Maeve of the Fae, who holds a Fae sword to Elide's throat. Like,
Crazy.
it's so crazy just
Mind blowing.
see like how everything played out, and honestly I
Mhm.
cried through this whole chapter too, because it's just so sad, like the grief that Brandon has. Like, he was
I
like,
know.
this was done already. Like, my wife
Supposed to
sacrificed
solve
her life
this.
to make the lock, and then I was going to sacrifice my life to then close the gate with the lock and be reunited with my love. Like, this was all said
Yeah.
and done, and his daughter just fucked it up. and i
Yeah.
and i feel like this goes to show like why secrets and keeping some things to yourself sometimes is just like such a bad thing that it
Especially even if you think you're doing the right thing.
yeah, which is like, I think Aelin does the same shit and is like, we need to learn from this, because if Elena had just known why her mom sacrificed herself and what her
Yeah.
dad planned to do with the lock, which was to send the gods back, who were going to take Erewhon with them and destroy him and their world, like, she never would have done this.
No.
And she just needed to wait. I mean, I don't know if she still would have done it if she did know that too, because Gavin would have died in the meantime, and she just was so
Yeah, she just didn't wanna
selfish
lose him.
of not
Yeah.
losing Gavin. And you know what, at the end of the day, like, that's exactly what is gonna happen. She's losing Gavin and her
Yeah.
children because she defied the gods for a second time.
Yeah, that's so sad when I read that, though. I did feel for her in that moment when they were like She will never see her children or Gavin ever again. She'll just live in this nothingness. And I'm just like, ugh.
Because I think that this is her consequence at the end of
No,
the
I
day.
know.
Like,
For sure.
her,
But I'm just saying I felt for her in that moment because that was like really sad.
like, it's hard enough for her to obviously lead the next descendant, one of her descendants,
Right.
to the slaughter.
Yeah, she's saying like it's easy to agree to before she knew her, and now she knows her, and she feels like even worse because
Yeah.
obviously she like loves Aelin.
But I think like the ultimate consequence is obviously like her turning into nothingness when this game is all said and
Yeah.
done, which I
This
think
is
should
for,
have been
like,
the punishment
eternity.
anyways because of how
Yeah.
selfish she was. She
Yeah.
couldn't even
I
tell her
mean,
own
she's been
husband the
paying for
truth.
it for 1,000 years already, and now it's gonna be for the rest of eternity.
It's almost like Elena didn't tell her everything that needed to be said because one, she's ashamed,
Of
and
course.
two, it's like the longer this game goes on, the longer she can be with Gavin.
People. True.
But everything's coming to a close.
Wait, is she with Gavin? I thought she was already paying the punishment being alone and just being
No, I think
available.
once the game is done, like she will cease into nothingness.
Oh, I see.
But I don't
So
know.
she's still being selfish?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so.
It says
though.
like she can't communicate for long, which probably is somewhat true, but I'm like, bitch, you could have definitely told her some more information quicker.
She could have told her more information quicker.
Yeah,
Like, she's like, you were just
for
getting out
sure.
of being an Endovir. Like, I couldn't tell you everything. You were struggling to be alive. And it's like, no, like, you could have been more clear about what
Yeah.
you were just like, protect the castle. There's like danger afoot, like during these games. Like,
Yeah.
that has nothing to do with what's
I
going
get
on
it
right
at
now.
first, like until she's like level headed, gets out of like that survival mode. But like 6 books later, you're finally gonna tell her? No.
Yeah.
You could have told her like maybe book 2, maybe book 3.
Yeah, and she's like, you sent me to Wendelin for what? And she's like, obviously to meet Rowan, you dumb bitch. But like,
Yeah.
it just obviously like prolonged everything. She's like, you knew Maeve was there, and I feel like could Maeve have been like avoided if she like never went there? But then she would never know her mate. So
True.
I don't know. It's obviously all just so complicated.
Yeah, because Maeve played a role in that too, where she wanted them to meet, or like took Rowan under his control because she knew
that Aelin was his
Aelin's
mate.
Yeah,
Which
we'll get
is
into later.
girl,
But crazy.
But yeah, this was just so sad to see everything play out and everything Brandon did to try to prevent these keys from ending up in the wrong hands, and they ended up in the wrong hands anyways.
Yeah,
it's just like
because of his fucking daughter.
It's just so sad. Well, not even because of his daughter. Like, he sets those keys like in the riddles and patterns, and then Dorian's dad finds them and not Aelin, and he gives it to his friend who they were like, let's go unlock Erewhon, which is just like so stupid.
Dumbasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, because literally if they just left fucking Erewhon alone, then Maeve would have just stayed chilling, waiting for the day forever.
Yeah, I think like if they had never unlocked that, obviously when Aelin or whoever or Dorian, it was time.
Yeah.
They just would have found the keys, forged the lock, and the gods would have taken Erewhon with them, and Dorian or Aelin would have died, and we would have less bloodshed and war. But
I agree.
That is not what happened because Dorian's dad was a dipshit.
Yep.
Everyone's a dipshit in this book.
Fucking dipshits, all the people in charge.
Oh, but yeah. Now we're back out of the mirror after that devastating truth. It was like one punch after the next punch after the next punch.
Imagine Manon. She's like,
fuck, this life's...
Who are these people?
This bitch's life sucks.
Yeah.
She has to die now? Fuck.
Yeah.
Glad it's not me.
Yeah, literally. She's like, why am I here again?
Yeah, no, literally. She's like, I'm here for you. Not really. She just gets closer.
Yeah.
The only comfort she knows how to give.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, wow, this fucking blows. And they arrive back out of the mirror. And of course, there's no rest for the wicked at the end of a Sarah J. Maas book. So Maeve has a sword to Elide's throat the second we pop back out of the mirror. And of course, right in front of Maeve, because we can't catch a fucking break. Like, we couldn't pop back, on the boat where we disappeared
and fight
from.
a little.
Yeah,
no. Nope.
Right in front of Maeve.
Empire of Storms, Chapter 69. Adian found himself in a kind of battle he had never known, chaotic, overwhelming, and too dangerous for Lysandra to strike from beneath the waves. Forced into her snow leopard form, she fought at his side while he grappled with the knowledge that Gabriel, Fenris, and Lorcan had all vanished from the field. Before disappearing, Gabriel had thrown a golden shield around him, a final act of protection. Desperate, Adian ordered Lysandra to flee, shift into anything else, and run, but she refused, placing her massive paws on his shoulder and nuzzling him, a silent vow to stay. He told her to be human the next time that she does that. And together, they plunged back into the slaughter, Adian noticing the golden shield around her too, trying not to think about Rowan, Dorian, or the endless ships still bearing down on them. Dorian unleashed devastating waves of ice and power, freezing soldiers and ships alike as storm clouds gathered overhead. Yet the enemy kept coming, and still no sign of Aelin or Manon. Nearing burnout, he heard Adian's cry of pain, followed by a roar of pure rage. Then, cutting through the storm, a wyvern plunged from the cloud, followed by 12 more.
Woo!
The 13 are
Hell
here!
yeah.
I knew it. I knew they were alive, and I knew they would come when the time was right.
Yes.
I love them. So basically, yeah, we just know Adian is fighting for his life. Lysandra is in snow leopard form now because they basically figured out what she was doing, and it was just too dangerous for her to be in the water. So now she is ripping motherfuckers' necks out while Adian's fighting by her side. And Adian's like, you need to get the fuck out of here. But she's like, I'm not going anywhere. We're all in this together. Get over your goddamn self. And she stays.
Suck a dick.
But they're all kind of feeling this pressure of like, they're just nonstop coming. Like there's just more. There's keeps being more and more and more. Even Dorian is reaching burnout here with his ice powers. And he's like, there's no sign of Aelin or Manon. And there's no sign that these motherfuckers are stopping
Yeah.
coming. But we do have one sign that we're happy with, the wyvern plunging from the sky with 12 others, telling us the 13 are here and ready to join the fight.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Empire Storms, Chapter 70. Lysandra recognizes that thunderous roar overhead just as Abraxos plunges from the sky, leading 12 more wyverns bearing Iron Teeth witches into battle. At Rowan's command, their forces holds their fire while the witches strike Maeve's armada, somehow knowing exactly what ships to target. Chaos erupts across the sea as wyverns and riders tear into the enemy fleet with brutal precision. Astrid lands aboard one of the ships and immediately demands to know Manon's whereabouts, explaining that Abraxos had led them here. When Adian confirms that Manon is nearby, he strikes a bargain. Fight with them, and he'll answer any questions Astrid has. She agrees without hesitation, calling the 13 into formation as they join the assault. Their arrival giving Adian's forces the opening they desperately need. Watching them, Lysandra aches with frustration at her own exhaustion, wishing she had the strength left to shift and fight alongside the witches. Even with the witch's aid, any enemy that slips past the 13 and the combined magic of Rowan and Dorian is met by Adian and Lysandra, both refusing to be outdone by Iron Teeth witches. Under the relentless assault, Maeve's armada finally begins to retreat. The 13 and the Whitethorns pursue the fleeing ships to ensure they do not regroup. But Rowan quickly notices something wrong. Maeve's personal ship, the Nightingale, is neither among the sunken vessels nor the retreating fleet. Dorian realizes the truth. Aelin is on shore, and he can feel her presence, along with Lorcan's and that of an ancient female. The battle at sea had been a calculated distraction. Maeve had never intended to win it. She had just used it to reach her true prize. Completely spent, their group knows rowing to shore would take too long, and Aelin needs them all together if Maeve has reached her. As the weight of that realization settles in, one thought cuts through the exhaustion. If only there were a wyvern that might still reach the shoreline in time.
Crazy.
Yeah. So Astrid's like, where's my homegirl Manon? And
I love Astrid. I'm so happy she's alive.
Adian's like, well, she is here somewhere, but I'll tell you more if you help us win this battle.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, fine.
Yeah. She's like, okay, we got this.
Yeah.
Basically destroys the rest of the fleet.
Yeah, they like are the other Fae ships start like pooping their pants when they see the wyvern and the witches coming at them, and they're just
Yeah.
thinking like, if this is one coven I mean, the best coven, obviously,
Yeah.
can
But
do
only 13 of them.
this much damage.
Yeah.
Like, what can a whole fleet of covens do? Which is
But that's
something we
why
need to
they
worry about.
also need the Krakens at the end, because they have all the Iron Teeth that are in a Darlin right now.
Yeah.
So they need somebody to fucking battle them.
Yep. And we'll see what happens with that later, but
Crazy.
in the next book.
Indeed.
But yeah, so Rowan's like, fuck, Maeve's not retreating. Maeve is not in the ocean. So she's
Mhm.
probably on shore, which is not super great.
No.
Fuck. But like, also, like,
Crazy.
I know he's like, we need to all be together if Maeve is battling with Aelin, and I understand that. But I just feel like if he had just gone and then everyone else waited for the Wyvern to bring them over there,
Yeah.
maybe some of this could have been prevented. But whatever, I didn't write the story.
Very true.
Yeah.
Empire of Storms, chapter 71. Maeve appeared exactly as Aelin remembered, beautiful and terrible, a creature of dreams twisted into nightmares, with a lie kneeling at her feet and a blade pressed to her throat. Surrounded by Maeve's forces, Aelin and Manon stood ready when Lorcan arrived, and Maeve spilled that he had summoned her after spotting Ansel's armada. His apology left Aelin unsure whether it was meant for her or Allied. Aelin, defiant as ever, demanded Maeve state her price for the girl, while Allied reeled at the realization that Lorcan had betrayed them all in Maeve's name. When Maeve questioned him, Lorcan insisted he had acted for her, especially when he revealed Aelin held two of the keys. Maeve, weakened but calculating, had waited for Aelin to exhaust herself, extinguishing the fires Maeve had set along EOS coast. She intended to drain Aelin slowly over days and weeks. Allied begged Lorcan and Manon to intervene, but neither moved. Aelin ordered Manon to retreat as she summoned her flame. Maeve was uninterested in killing Aelin. She commanded Lorcan to restrain Allied, and though he begged her to run, Allied refused to abandon them. A lash of dark magic wrapped around Aelin's throat, and Maeve taunted her for not using the keys. Fenris and Gabriel pleaded for Maeve to stop, but she dismissed them, severing Gabriel's blood oath and stripping him of his title while condemning Fenris to eternal servitude. Then, Maeve revealed the truth she had hidden for centuries. Brannon had stolen the keys from her after she took them from the Valg, then mated with Mala to protect his lands and his heirs. Maeve had waited for Brannon's bloodline to weaken, knowing Mala's power would eventually rise again and lead her to the keys. She had foreseen Aelin, what she was, who she loved, and who her mate was. Maeve confessed she had deceived Rowan into believing Lyria was his mate, letting him love her, impregnate her, and then destroying him to keep her under her control. Now she intended to use Aelin's love for Rowan to force her obedience. Introducing Cairn as the newest member of her cadre, Maeve offered Aelin a choice. Come willingly and get acquainted with Cairn, or be taken by force, and Allied would be dragged along as well. Maeve was certain Allied and Cairn would get along wonderfully, leaving no doubt about the cruelty she intended.
Fuck.
Maeve is just as much as a fucking puppet master as these goddamn gods
Yeah.
when it comes to Aelin.
Yeah.
She basically tells her that the price for Allied to be alive is Aelin.
Yeah.
Basically. She's like, you can come willingly and get acquainted with my friend here, or
You're both coming with me.
you're both coming, and Allied will be tortured too.
Yeah.
So you pick. Obviously, she's going to save Allied at the
Yeah.
end of the day. Allied, it makes me so sad here that she's like begging Manad. And obviously, we know my Manad can't get involved, which we'll learn in the next chapter, I believe. But Lorcan is just like, yep, I did everything for you. No remorse, no nothing, no trying to even fight it. And I'm just like, ugh. He summons Maeve, of all people, to save Allied. I'm like, you think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
And she sent two of the guys in the cadre to kill you? You think she's just going to help you?
This is what I never understood about this part. And like, let's just like really take a look at this right now. So Lorcan defies Maeve and leaves Doranel to go and find these keys to destroy them, to keep them away from Maeve.
Yeah.
Now Maeve is like,
for her own good.
For her own good. Maeve then sends the cadre after Lorcan to kill him for defying her. Lorcan,
Yeah.
now with Allied, is like saying how he would never, break his blood oath and like he's basically screwed because he defied Maeve.
Yeah.
But then now when he sees Ansel's armada, summons Maeve and is going to tell her that the two keys are here to give to her, when the whole point of
So
him,
that she would save Allied?
that doesn't make any it
No.
doesn't make
It
any sense.
doesn't
I
make
don't
any
know
sense.
what Sarah J. Maas was doing with this, because like his intentions all along are to keep the keys away from Maeve for her own good so she doesn't
Yeah.
destroy herself. Now we're just going to willingly give her the keys for what? Like when he saw that armada, did he just like panic and think Allied was gonna die?
I
So
think so. That's what I got out of it. Like he wanted to save her no matter what, even if it meant bowing down to Maeve and get Maeve's help to save her.
yeah.
But I don't think Maeve would ever even help to begin with. So that's why I'm like, you're an
It
idiot.
just doesn't make any sense to me, and like nothing Lorcan has ever said about Maeve and her cruelty, and like even
Yeah.
would make any sense of what his
No.
actions. It doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense to me, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
like, what the
No.
fuck?
Well, that's also why I'm pissed at Lorcan. Like, all this could have been avoided if you just didn't make this stupid fucking mistake. Well, not avoided, but maybe not like happening right at this instant.
I mean, I think like obviously Maeve says that she was trying to tire Aelin out by setting these
Yeah.
fires and waiting days or weeks for her to burn herself out, and she was going to attack anyways. But I don't know,
Yeah.
it's just a lot. It's just like really
Yeah.
weird, and it doesn't like line up in my head like motivations and just like things we've seen from these characters. Like I guess like at the end of the day, Lorcan is willing to defy Maeve for Allied, but not really. Like it's just I
Yeah.
think he's confused on like who he needs to be protecting at this point,
Very
and
confused.
it's just like fucking everything up because like he can't
Yeah.
decide between oath and love.
Yeah. But Gabriel, also in this chapter, gets stripped of his title and his blood oath, which obviously he was the one when they were talking about being enslaved to her or being free. He was the one that was like, I have to stay no matter what because that's my blood oath. And I feel like that's why she let him go, because she knows that like that dishonor will eat him alive more than just killing him.
Yeah.
But that's also why she's making Fenris stay, because he's always wanted to leave and now he's stuck with her forever.
Yeah, where's
So.
his brother? Like
I know.
you know what is so funny, and we'll have to see.
Yeah, because there's 5 of them, right?
Karen is new, but
Yeah, so
and they said that the brother was, I thought, stayed with Maeve,
yeah,
but
I thought
he's
so
not on the
too.
beach. So I'm like, where is he?
Yeah, interesting.
And
Interessante.
there's another one too, right? That like took off in a different direction to try to find Lorcan. Rowan, Lorcan, Gabriel, Fenris. Yeah, Connell, which is the brother, I think. Vaughn is the other one that just we
Vaughn.
don't know where he is.
Yeah.
And Cairn.
Okay, yeah.
But Cairn's the newest member.
Yeah.
So right now, Maeve has Fenris, Connell, Vaughn, and Cairn still blood oath to her.
Yeah.
But so who knows where Vaughn
Crazy.
is? Where the fuck is
Yeah.
Connell? We just bring
Yeah.
Cairn.
Wild. I mean, I'm glad Fenris is still there with Aelin in this moment. And even Lorcan, I think, says later that he can hopefully help and send them a trail of where they are or whatever.
Yeah.
Or leave a trail so that they can find them. But yeah, crazy. We learn obviously from Maeve too, which we already know this from Elena and the mirror. Brennan, the whole backstory with him and Maeve and their involvement with the bloodline weakening and her knowing who she loved and setting up fucking Rowan with Lyra and breaking him, which is crazy because even at the end of this chapter, she's like, guess I didn't really even have to do that to Rowan. That was just an added bonus. And it's just like so cruel and crazy. And I'm just like, oh, I can't stand this lady. I can't wait for her to be tortured for the rest of her life.
Okay.
And never die.
So this is where my theory comes in, and I can finally talk about Rhys.
Yes.
So we have seen like similarities between Rhys's powers and Maeve's powers, right? And there's still more that comes into this theory that I cannot disclose yet, but I can give a big chunk of it right now. So, I'm always convinced that Elaine and Lucian are not true mates. And I think that Tamlin is her true mate, or like there's something going on there.
Yeah.
And in the throne room, like that day in Highburn, like I think Rhys fucked with the minds of Lucian and Tamlin, and I think that he switched it so that like Tamlin wouldn't be Feyre's sister's mate and made Lucian the mate, because we've seen someone do this before, which is Maeve did this to
Maeve,
Rowan,
yes.
Aelin, and Lyra. So that is why I have this theory about that, is from Throne of Glass.
Interesting. Yeah, because Maeve fucks with Rowan.
Yeah, and
And
fully
Lyra's
thought
just a
that they were
random
mates.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor Lyra.
Yeah.
Or Lyria.
She was
Whatever you say your
an
name.
innocent bystander.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Which there have been a lot of them that were sacrificed so far in this war, but
Yeah. So if this ever comes to light in the ACOTAR series, I will be like, well, fuck.
that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Wild. So, yes, we're introduced to our newest cadre member, Cairn, and Maeve wants a decision from Aelin. You going to come alone or is a lad coming too?
All right. We'll see what happens.
Yes, we will.
Empire of Storms, Chapter 72. Aelin stands broken and in agony, her body battered and her magic completely spent. She watches in silence as Lorcan, terror etched across his face, refuses Maeve's command. Manon, already calculating how to save Alide, waits for Aelin to act, unaware that Aelin no longer has any power left to wield. Lorcan pleads with Maeve to take the queen and leave Alide untouched, while Manon coldly asserts that Alide belongs with the Iron Teeth and should be released if Maeve wishes to avoid conflict. Alide begs Lorcan to do something, but Maeve tightens her control, ordering both Lorcan and Fenris to stand still and obey. Maeve makes her desire clear. She wants the word keys in one hand and Aelin in the other, knowing that there is no other way to protect Alide. Aelin silently accepts Maeve's terms. At her nod, Maeve orders Lorcan to release Alide. Alide insists on going with Aelin, but Aelin reminds her that Terrasen will need her courage. Before surrendering herself, Aelin entrusts Alide with her final messages: to tell Lysandra to keep her promise and know that Aelin will always be grateful, to tell Adian that none of this is his fault and that Terrasen will now look to him to hold the lines, and to tell Rowan that she is sorry for lying. She admits that the time they had was always borrowed, yet she still wishes for more and begs him to fight on, to save Terrasen and remember the vows they made together. She thanks him for walking beside her through the darkness and back into the light. An iron coffin opens, perfectly sized for her, accompanied by an ornate iron mask forged centuries ago to contain and break Mala's scion. Maeve mocks the rumors that Aelin bows to no one and forces her to bow at last. Maeve orders Aelin to strip off her shirt and commands Cairn to whip her, not once, but again and again, restarting the count each time until the punishment becomes endless, halted only by the approach of others. Manon is forced to knock Alide unconscious to get her away from Maeve's cruelty, even as Lorcan struggles helplessly against the blood oath binding him. Through it all, Aelin steels herself. She wipes away her tears as Maeve places the iron mask over her face, knowing Maeve will not kill her while the word keys remain unclaimed, and that her sacrifice has bought the others time.
Wild. I like literally couldn't even read this chapter. I was like, not the whipping.
But
No.
defiant until the end, she was not going to count.
I know.
She was like, I may have dropped to my
Maeve's
knees
like,
for
which
you.
number was that?
Yeah.
None? Start over.
I mean, she
I'm
may have
like,
dropped to her knees for her, but she's
yeah.
not going to count.
No.
She's like, you can beat me to death, but I will not be counting. Thanks.
Crazy. But like, even how devastating it is, like, not only is there like a fucking iron coffin, she describes it as, but there's chains for her wrists, her legs, her neck, this iron mask that's gonna go over her face, and she's just gonna be in this box, like
enclosed,
all bloody, all nasty. Ugh.
Yeah.
All to save Alide.
To
She
break
literally,
her.
yeah.
It's sad. It's
Crazy.
just the
So
beginning of
sad.
Kingdom of Ash is so it's like literally like I am just devastated from the beginning of the end of this book to the end of Kingdom of Ash. Tears, constantly crying.
Oh no. I'm sad. I'm scared.
But like Wow. Maeve just fucking up so many
Yeah,
things.
Maeve
It's
is a
almost like the
bitch.
gods should just like come down and smite her for all the bullshit
Yeah.
that she's doing right now.
No shit. Like,
Throwing
why is she still alive after 1,000
like
years?
throwing everything off the path. Like their little
Yeah,
like lockmaker is being put in a fucking iron box right now.
literally.
Well, they're like, well, I guess we still have Dorian, so fuck Caitlin.
Yeah, they're like, it's gotta only just be one of them.
Yeah.
So as long as one of them survives.
Yeah.
Torian, you're the next lamb.
Yeah. Dorian, you are now the lamb.
Yeah, can't.
Just so crazy with the like line about Lysandra,
Oh my
obviously
gosh.
leading into what happens next, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll get to that in a little bit.
Indeed. Okay. Empire Storms chapter 73. Manon walked away without a backwards glance, refusing to betray even a flicker of emotion that might reveal Aelin had secretly passed the word keys to her. With a single look, she understood her task: get the keys far from Maeve and get Allied to safety. Behind her, Aelin had been locked inside an iron coffin, bound in chains at her wrists, ankles, and throat, an iron mask covering her face, left unhealed and bleeding from Maeve's brutal whipping. Maeve then turned on Lorcan, stripping him of his blood oath, titles, and assets, condemning him not to death but to a lifetime of disgrace for his betrayal. Manon urged Allied to flee before Maeve realized where the keys were, but Allied remained transfixed, watching Lorcan crawl after Maeve, begging her even as she abandoned him. Abraxos' roar split the air, and Manon's heart pounded as she prepared to escape with Allied and the keys. Yet beneath her resolve, she whispered a desperate prayer that Aelin, the Queen of Terrasen, might somehow survive Maeve's cruelty long enough to fulfill her destiny, even if it meant later dying to save them all.
She's just fucked either way.
She is just fucked either way. And even Manon's like, I know what I gotta do. This is my task. But either way, I hope she survives because she's gotta die for the right reasons and not at the hands of the fucking enemy.
Right.
Crazy.
So crazy.
And honestly, in the moment when Alad's like begging Manon to intervene, I was kind of pissed. I'm like, why is Manon not saying anything? I knew she obviously didn't want to ruffle any feathers and cause a bigger scene or whatever, but like, I am so glad that she has the keys, and at least Maeve was stupid enough or distracted enough to not make sure that she had them before she took Aelin away.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure Aelin will pay for at the beginning of Kingdom of Ash, but
Yeah.
for now, she doesn't have them.
No.
And this chapter also made me fucking hate Lorcan because he's crawling after Maeve. And Allied just watching him like, just getting the ick. And I got the ick too, Allied. So
Yeah.
he's stripped of his title, his blood oath, and, disgraced for his betrayal for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And
It has to hurt the soul wound because even Gabrielle
yeah.
doesn't say anything
No, yeah. He's
throughout
like
this whole
drained.
interaction because of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it does. It's just crazy that like that bond is stronger than the one with Allied. Like see them bonding throughout this whole fucking book basically. And then to know he just still like blinders up to Allied when fucking Maves tells him to fucking jump. He's like, I'm jumping.
Well, that's it.
Like,
That was his whole life. He says he's
I
like, I've
know.
always loved her. I've been in love with her my whole existence, even though she wants nothing to do with me. Like it was already icky. Like
Yeah, he's a fucking ick. Ugh.
just the fucking like love bombing, not love bombing that Maeve does to like keep him in control, but she like was like, you're my number one. Like you're like whatever she did to like
Yeah.
manipulate him. And this has been
Well, I
going on for
also
thousands
guess
of years.
I think too, I feel for Allied because she's had such a shitty life too, and everyone's fucking used and abused her. And this one guy that she finally is showing interest in just like still won't choose her and chooses this cruel, nasty bitch. Ugh.
But I mean, he
Just
did
pisses me
tell
off.
her that he
Yeah, he did, but guess what, Megan? I wanted him to pick Allied, no matter what.
well, I mean, I think we should listen to men when they tell us things because they're always
I'm gonna be pissed at him no matter what you say until I read the redemption arc myself.
yeah. It's gonna take a bit, but
Yeah.
he does a lot for in
If
the next
Alide's
book.
happy at the end of the day, then I guess I'll be happy too. But for right now, I'm with Alide, and he gave me the ick.
It is icky. But like I said
Yeah.
earlier, like his actions make no sense to me.
No.
So I don't even know what to say about it except
At least he's free of her now.
I like
So
him at the end of the series.
yeah. Yeah.
You know who I don't like at the end of the series? Adian.
Adian. No surprise there. So Braxis is back and Manon's heart is full. She's about to go fucking see her little wyvern again and give a little prayer that Aelin survives.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, it's my last chapter of Empire
Your last
Storms.
chapter. Wow.
Holy shit. Okay.
Crazy.
Empire Storms, chapter 74. Lurkin is left kneeling in a sea of blood as the battle ends, only slowly realizing that Maeve is gone and that in her haste she left without the word keys. When Rowan arrives and demands to know where Aelin is, his fury shatters into a desperation as he roars, "Where is my wife?" The sound breaks
Whoa.
something inside of Lorcan, and for the first time in centuries, he weeps. Aelin had known Lorcan betrayed her, yet she had still married Rowan to ensure Terrasen would have a king. She had sacrificed herself, bowed to Maeve, endured torment, and surrendered her freedom, all to save Alide. Manon tells Rowan the truth. Maeve took Aelin. Gavriel confirms that Maeve used the blood oaths to force them all into submission, even Lorcan. Alide informs Adian that Maeve's ship vanished without warning, while Dorian works to heal Gabriel's wounds, though nothing can mend the deeper damage done by Maeve's dishonorable breaking of the oath. Manon then reveals what she knows of the lock, Elena's bargain, and the terrible price demanded by the gods for both Elena and Aelin. Alide adds her own truths, recounting what happened on the dunes, that Aelin and Rowan were mates, Maeve's cruelty towards Lyria, the endless whipping, and the iron mask and coffin prepared to break Aelin entirely. The revelations ignite fury in Adian, who turns on Lysandra and accuses her of knowing the truth all along. Lysandra confirms Aelin's final plan, that she would wear Aelin's skin for the rest of her life, ruling Terrasen in her stead while Aelin died to forge the lock and banish Erewhon. Rowan would sit on the throne, but Adian's children would be the heirs, their Ash River features preserving the line. Enraged, Adian lashes out, demanding to know whether he was meant to learn the truth before or after unknowingly taking his cousin to bed. Lysandra refuses to apologize, declaring she acted in service to her queen. Alide, raw with grief and anger, turns on Lorcan and tells him to enjoy the long, miserable life he has earned for himself, alone. As the dust settles, the 13 reunite, pledging themselves fully to Manon. She declares her intent to find the Kraken witches and raise an army, determined to ensure that Aelin's sacrifice will mean more than the failures of their foremothers. Manon then reveals one final truth. Aelin had slipped 2 of the word keys to her during the confrontation, which is why Manon had been forced to remain outwardly neutral. She now passes the keys to Dorian, explaining that Elena revealed he too is a part of the bloodline and that the quest is not over. Dorian must find the 3rd word key because Aelin's fate and the fate of the world has not yet been sealed.
Wild.
So crazy. So,
My wife?
my wife, did you see that coming?
No.
When she was like, I have something that I need you to do for me.
Yeah.
And it was to marry her.
Wow.
I know.
No, I did not see that coming.
Yes. And then the revelation of Lysandra, who would now be Aelin for the rest of her life. Because to the world, like they would know, obviously, that that's Lysandra. But to the
Yeah.
world, it would have to seem like Aelin is still there and the Queen of Terrasen and in power for this war to succeed.
Yeah.
And obviously, we see that really come into play in the last chapter that you'll read to us soon. But Adian is furious, like calling her a lying bitch, which is just like, I think a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
I
mean, we know he's a hothead, but also I do feel like he is warranted to be pissed because of the fact that I feel like this is a fucking pattern that happens to him. Like he is always finding out everything last when he does technically outrank her. So I do understand the frustration, but I do think he's way over the top with it.
Well, I think
she doesn't deserve this lash out.
Yeah, these plans obviously came into play when
Yeah.
Aelin asks Rowan to go get Lysandra. When Aelin realizes that she is going to die, she goes
Yeah.
and gets Lysandra. And of course, Lysandra needs to agree in order for this plan to
Of
work.
course.
And then
Yeah.
Adian can know. Who knew that all of these things were going to happen before Aelin would even have a chance to tell Adian that this would happen? Now, would she have? I don't know, because it's
No,
Aelin and
she
she
wouldn't have.
keeps her
Which is why
secrets.
he's pissed, because he knows that.
And he's pissed at the wrong person. He should be
Yeah.
pissed at Aelin, not be calling
Exactly.
Lysandra a lying bitch, taking this out on her.
Yeah, because Lysandra tells him straight up, like, I was just doing my role to my queen. Like, I'm not doing anything wrong. And she's right. Like,
Didn't
if
do
Aelin
anything
doesn't say
wrong.
anything to Aiden, then that's her problem, not Lysandra's.
Right. And he's like, well, you're going to tell me the truth before or after I took my cousin to bed. Obviously, she would have told him the truth when he needed to know the truth. She did.
No shit.
She literally tells him the truth, like, in that moment when it's all coming
And,
out.
like, why would she try to seduce you as Aelin without telling you that it's her?
Right.
That's weird.
That's weird. And so
Adian. Stupid
the
ass.
way he treats her, I don't even care. Like, so badly through the next book until like
Oh no.
like for the longest time. And it's
I can tell because you really hate him, and I don't know why yet.
I just think
he's annoying, but like
it's just like he just won't stop. Like he won't even like look at her. Like he's like shaking with rage. Like Rowan has to tell him to like stop. Like in the next chapter, like it's just like really unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary drama, and he
obviously like has other emotions for Aelin. Like he's mad at her. He's sad she's taken, like, and he's just like a big ball of emotions, and he literally doesn't know how to handle it. Takes it all out on Lysandra.
I just don't think like I just have ever liked how he acted. Like, just like telling them like, you know, let the men do things for once. Like, shut the fuck up. Like you like
he feels useless.
Sexist bitch.
Yeah, that's what it is. He's not in charge, and he's not like the main man that everyone goes to, so they all feel
But he
like,
was never going to be in charge. Like,
I know.
He never will be. And so he's like, I've known this since birth. I would be serving Aelin. Well, then serve her.
Then serve her and shut up.
Blindly. Like, shut your mouth.
Just
you
like
don't get a decision.
Else.
She makes the decision and you follow it. Like, that's like what I just can't stand. And now to take it out on poor Lysandra, who has done so much for this war.
She's literally just doing her duty.
She's sacrificing herself to be Aelin for the good of this world. And you're going to call her a lying bitch? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to say about that.
Adian, you stuck.
But yay, the 13 agree to go find the Kraken witches with Manon, and Dorian is going to take on these word keys. She hands them to them, and the quest is not over. Dorian's going to put his big boy pants on and step up.
Finally.
Yeah.
Spend 6 books.
Yeah. I think we've really seen Dorian come into his own in this book.
When he met Manon.
Yeah, like after.
He's like, I got to flex for her.
After the collar comes off, he's learning his power. He's really stepped up in this book. And I think once he fully finds his voice, like he's just going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, for sure. And his power is already great too. So
yeah.
Here we go, Megan. Last chapter of the episode and of Empire of Storms.
Oh my god.
Chapter 75. Rowan knelt on the beach in silent anguish. Just 2 days ago, he secretly married Aelin with only Adian and Lysandra as witnesses. He had always known she was his mate, but had buried the truth out of respect for Lyria, and Aelin had never pressed him. Now, consumed with fury that Maeve had imprisoned her in an iron box and planned to torture her, Rowan clung to their bond, sending desperate messages. Fight it. I will find you, even if it takes 1,000 years. But Aelin did not answer. As the others gathered behind him, their attention shifted to unfamiliar ships approaching. From them came Galen Ashriver, Crown Prince of Wenlin, bearing a note from Aelin calling in a debt for Evelyn Ashriver and Miss Ward. Soon after, Ilias and the assassins of the Red Desert arrive, honoring the life they owed Selena Sardathian / Aelin Galathinius. Rowan realized she had done exactly what she once promised Darrow. She had called in every favor, every oath, raising an army of assassins, outcasts, and allies for Terrasen.
Tears.
Tears. Lysandra, disguised as Aelin, stepped forward to greet the newcomers and direct them north to Terrasen. Before Rowan departed, she asked him to retrieve something she needed, and he understood without question. Gabriel, Lorcan, and Alide offered to accompany Rowan in the hunt for Aelin, comforted only by the hope that Fenris, still bound to Maeve, might leave signs for them to follow. Adian prepared to march north with Lysandra as Aelin to command the armies, urging Rowan to bring Aelin home. Manon and the witches took to the skies with Dorian, who intended to search for the third word key while staying far from Maeve's reach. Manon vowed he would not die, and together they planned to rally the Krakens and later join Terrasen's forces so that something remained for Aelin and Rowan to return to. As the wyverns lifted into the sky, Astrid and Briar remained to carry Lorcan, Alide, and Gabriel across the sea. Lorcan tried to approach Alide, but she ignored him completely, and Rowan saw the devastation on his face. Then Rowan shifted, soaring upward, mesmerizing the faint thread of their bond, one he thought he felt flicker in response. With a cry that split the sky, Prince Rowan Whitehorn, Galathinius, consort to the Queen of Terrasen, began the relentless hunt to find his wife.
Well,
Wow, Megan's got tears in her eyes. I love that he's a Galathinius now, too.
yes.
I'm like, honey, took her last name. Okay.
He has to. He's the consort.
Yeah, he's the consort. Crazy.
It's just so good, and all now everyone
So
is
good.
so separated, right? So we have
Mhm.
like Manon and Dorian and the 13 going to find the Krakens and the third word key. We have
Yep.
Lysandra / Aelin and Adian with the allies heading north to Terrasen. We have
Yep.
Rowan and Alide /
Lorcan.
and Gavriel going to find Aelin. And then we
Yep.
have Kale and Irene and Nezrin and Sartok like still up in the southern continent. Like
Yeah.
we're all kind of like
Everyone's-
separating again.
I know. I feel like they'll all come together, obviously, hopefully in Terrasen, where everybody's heading.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's like, I will find you, even if it takes 1,000 years. Like, okay, Rowan, I love you. But I was so excited. I could understand because the whole time I'm reading the ending, all I could think about was like that you said you wanted to pick up Kingdom of Ash like immediately when you read the last chapter. So when I'm reading this last chapter, I can't wait. And once I saw Galen, Ash River, and Ilias from the Red Desert, I was like, no fucking way. Like everyone shows up at the right time.
Yeah.
And then
Ansel's
you see Lysandra go
pooping
into
herself.
her fucking
Yeah.
She just goes into her she like already knows her mannerisms and everything. And I'm just like, this is fucking crazy, dude. And she's like, Rowan, before you come, go get one thing for me. And I'm like, obviously it's Aelin. And I'm just like, yay, go get her.
Yeah.
Crazy. But like there's hope. Like this chapter brings so much hope. And I know it's going to be devastating. And I'm trying to prepare myself, Kingdom of Ash. But this chapter gives me hope that we're going to save Aelin and save the world.
No.
I hope.
I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Yes. I can't believe we're done with Empire of Storms. What a journey.
know.
What a fucking journey. I'm going to keep all my predictions for after Tower of Dawn next week when we talk about final thoughts with Amy.
Yes.
For Kingdom of Ash. But wow. I'm still processing the ending. I can't. We're going to have to post our text threads because I just was like freaking out earlier. I'm like, it's been 11 weeks of this book and now it's over. Like crazy.
But even just thinking like we just have what, like 12, 13 more weeks, maybe 14 more weeks of just Throne of Glass in general is like so crazy.
After over a year?
Yeah, I feel like we're in a long-term relationship with Throne of Glass and Aelin, and I just like don't know how we're gonna say goodbye.
I know.
Like I read it in
wild.
like 2 months, like the whole series before. Now I've spent over a year with these characters. Like I feel like I was devastated after 2 months. Like I'm ready to like say goodbye again, I think, but like I'm gonna be I'll cry the whole time.
I know.
I cried today like 3 times.
Yeah, I know. Megan cried.
Yeah.
I'm so ready though to finish Tower of Dawn. I feel like we left on such a good spot too where I'm ready to pick it back up and finish that one and then go into that bad boy, baby.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We got a couple episodes before that though, so
yes.
We'll leave it there for now.
Yes.
And that's all we have for you today. Please let us know what you think by leaving us a review and comments on any of the platforms you are listening/watching on or on our social media pages. This helps tremendously to get the word out and lead more listeners to find our show and tune in. And come join our book club Discord. You can find the link in our bios on Insta and TikTok. And next, we are reading The Wolf King by Lauren Pelferman. We love chatting with you guys, so don't be shy.
Don't forget to email, follow, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and tell all your friends about us. And we hope the rest of your day is blissful. Bye!
Thank you so much for listening. Join us next time for part 12 of the Tandem Read by Sarah J. Maas, featuring Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. Happy reading!